Okay, so what I'm going to do today, what I've already started doing rather, is make one of these. It's a little snowman ornament. I've made them before, lots of people make them on lathes. They're quite a popular thing, but they are really easy to make. I'm going to assemble this one now. This is his little hat and his nose, and it's the same wood, so it's a piece of this stuff, which is twisted willow or Salix contorta or something like that anyway, and it's from our garden. I had to pollard the tree some time ago, and I've got quite a bit of it, and I've sort of been wondering what to do with it, because it's not super thick, so obviously you're not going to make a very big bowl out of that, and it is, as the name suggests, a bit twisty. Here's a slightly longer bit, and you can see you kind of have to cut it and work out where you can get straight bits out of. But there's all sorts of things anyway, but being as it's November and it is coming up towards that time of year, I thought, well, I'll make a couple of little snowman ornaments. I do try and make something for the house every year. I've made all sorts of random stuff. I might put some pictures on in a little compilation of some of the things I've made over the years, but it adds a bit of a personal touch and a unique touch to Christmas. Plus we like the wood. So yeah, I'm going to assemble this one. So I've turned a rough shape, snowman shape, as you will have seen, and now I'm just going to add some eyes and some buttons. And this one, I dyed the wood black just to give it a bit more sort of, I guess, character, and I'm going to put a little fabric scarf on it. The buttons themselves are just tiny little upholstery tacks, so the eyes and these ones as well, they're the same, just little upholstery tacks. And the nose, I have in the past turned a piece of wood, so I've taken like a, like an offcut, a small piece, and turned it down to make a nose, which is doable, but it takes a long time. But for this purpose, I'm just going to use a piece of this and this. So these bamboo skewer works well. You can paint them orange. You can paint them whatever colour you want. So all I've done, again, you will have seen in the video of me turning it, I've drilled a hole in the top. That's where his little hat's going to sit at. And I always tend to put them at an angle, because I think, I don't know, just gives it a bit more character. Some people like them, straight on, but there you go. You don't have to drill the hole. I just like to put a bit of a peg in there and fill it full of glue. I find they sit better. You can just turn the hat shape straight on, as you're turning it. So that kind of thing. But like I said, I kind of like them at an angle. This one I'm just going to leave relatively plain. So the hat is made out of the same section. Obviously a little bamboo nose. And for the buttons and the eyes, I'm just going to use these, and these are little copper pins. Now for the head, I'm probably going to have to cut these down, otherwise I'll poke out the back. Slightly creepy looking snowman, and I'll just put a few copper pins down there. As I said, the nose, again, I've drilled a hole, and that's roughly the same size as the piece of bamboo, and I'm just going to poke it in. There's his little nose. Done. The hat I will put on last, because I'm going to glue that on, obviously, and I might make it so that the grain matches up with that. For the eyes and the buttons, I'm going to take a very small drill bit excuse me, and drill them out. But first I'm just going to mark them where I want them. So his eyes are going to be that one there. This is just to give the drill bit something to sit in. And go one there. Relatively even. And for the buttons, we'll line it up with his nose, which is slightly crooked. But there you go. If you've ever built a snowman, the best ones are the ones that have got a bit of character, sort of crooked nose or something like that. So we'll put 3 buttons in there. I'm doing this roughly. I mean, you could be really accurate, but I don't see that it matters so much. So there's my holes drilled, well, marked anyway. Now I'm going to take this small drill bit and carefully drill holes through his eyes and the buttons. You could just knock the pins in, but you might split the wood. And I find that it's just easier if you do this first. And the drill bit is slightly smaller than the pins, so they will grab. It's not like they'll just drop out if you move it about. But okay, that's that bit done. That's my hammer. Just get a pair of snippers. This one I've left obviously wood, and I've given it a bit of a wax, just for a bit of a shine. I'll give it another wax once it's done, and I can polish it up. I did the same with this one. There's no reason why you can't paint them. You know, you can use them as a project for something for the kids to do. You know, you can make them out of wood and get them to paint them. Okay, they're not too bad. They're quite rough, these pins, but it's alright. If you're using or doing this as a sort of kids project, you probably want to use something a bit more friendly. Paint, again, is probably the best bet. And the eyes, because the head's obviously thinner, I'm just going to cut a little bit off the tacks. Pop his nose back in. There we go. I might go over those actually with a bit of black paint just to make them stand out a bit more. I don't know how well they show up. And the last bit is just to get some glue and glue his hat on. You can use wood glue. I'm just going to use a little bit of super glue to do perfectly well. Just hold that in place for a couple of minutes. There we go. Oh, not quite. But that is it basically. That's better. So, two little snowmen out of what is essentially scrap wood, because I didn't really know what else to do with it. Probably one of the simplest things you could make on a lathe. You don't have to go to the extra steps of making a separate hat part. Like I said, you can just turn that and incorporate it in there, but there we go. 2 little snowmen. So these will go in mantelpiece or somewhere like that for Christmas with some of the other stuff. So there we have it. A couple of Christmas ornaments made. It doesn't really take that long. It's a good project for kids, I feel, as well, especially if they're just starting out wood turning or even woodworking. You know, there's no reason why you have to do snowmen like this. You could, if you've got wood, cut discs and then stick those together so that you sort of get that kind of an effect. Obviously a large one, a medium, a small. Stick them together with something on the base. There you go. In fact, I might do that actually. I think I did that years ago with the kids. They've got a couple which we've still got. That's the other thing about them as well. The wood, it's fairly robust stuff, and as long as you pack them away well at the end of the year, Christmas, they'll last for years, rather than some of the ones you can buy, the plastic ones. Okay, there we go. 2 little snowmen for Christmas. Thanks for watching.